Boom, boys. Another big win for the Vikings, stretching it to 2-1, 28-24 victory with 1 minute left. They make a huge comeback with a wide open shot to KJ Osborne on a bit of a corner route. It was wonderful to see them come back in this game. The start was slow. It felt like another kind of Philly Eagles of last week game. It just started not good. It felt like the offense wasn't moving. The other team was, Goff, it seemed like all his receivers were wide open. So this was great to see them come back and kind of take this victory. This is one of those must win in division against kind of one of the weaker opponents in the division. So, great to see, great comeback. Lions get into this. They're much improved, definitely on offense and their offensive line. They're ranked third in the league in offensive line coming into this season, and they put up 35.5 points on average through 2 games. So, they came in with a great offense and looked to, push that and keep that kind of point streak alive. But you know what? I'm going to change it up every week. I'm reacting to this game. Let's go through kind of each piece of the Vikings here and talk a bit about them. So Kirk Cousins, another win and another mediocre game. I feel like as a Vikings fan, you got to expect this now from Kirk Cousins. He's a little good, a little bad. He never has those, huge games. Usually doesn't blow up too bad, has kind of that mediocre game. And, it works. It works for this team. They have enough weapons outside of him that I think he's just, right in that middling range of quarterbacks in the league, and, got the job done today. So can't complain too much. Saw a lot of reaction that, poor Cousins game. But I think he always gets the job done. So you got to look at two sides of this, where you could have a quarterback who loses you games over and over, or you could have a quarterback who kind of keeps you in all the games. And that's what I feel like Cousins does. Great news here coming into the second part of this video. Wide receivers, Adam Thielen gets on the board. Great game by him and KJ Osborne. I talked about this last week's reaction. These guys need to get involved. These second and third receivers. Jefferson comes out that first game, blows up, and then kind of, didn't do so well. Last week it was an average game for him. And then this week kind of, again, not much, 3 drops. So, what we needed to see is kind of some depth at that receiving core. It can't be all on Justin Jefferson. And he's going to have those blow-up games. So it's going to be great to have all these weapons working. Irv Smith again involved. And, we saw clear motion with the coaching staff get more of these wide receivers involved. So it's great to see. I'm kind of riding high here. This was a huge comeback. And so I don't have a lot of negatives. I think a lot of the reaction was early to the defense. And that's kind of what I'm going to jump to. There was way too many fourth down conversions given to the Lions here. The defense needs to stop a few of these as you work deeper into the season against better and better teams. You can't be having, that many. I think it was 4 fourth down conversions given up and a lot of just chunk yardage. And so, this zone system I thought was meant to kind of mitigate a lot of that. And feels like it's not doing its job. So, that was kind of disappointing to see. I think they did not much, this defense today. They came out so strong in that first game. I kind of called them the purple people eaters there for a minute, but they've definitely came back to earth after, that opening game against Green Bay. I think they're still going to be good. I think they're always going to be that average. I don't think the secondary is strong enough to really stand up to really, really good offenses. So, I do think we can expect kind of these up and down games. But again, they held them to 24 points. That's their lowest point total in the season. And, the offensive line there is good. So we saw that where they were running the ball, 0 sacks today. Goff had tons of time in the pocket. So this was definitely an outmatched defensive line against this O-line that's just really overperforming already this season. So, to come out with a win, that's huge against this. So big news coming up next. Great to see the run game get back in play. Dalvin Cook goes almost over 100. Gets a TD, but he does go down with another shoulder injury, that lingering shoulder. Early news says he's coming back next week with that brace like he did at the end of last season. But, good to see Alexander Mattison jump into the game. He's kind of a good backup to have. It's a good thing they have a good tandem because he can kind of come in and fill that role. We will see how this Cook news plays out, but I do see him still performing with that brace on. He is expected to play next week in London, they're saying, so early news says that. But great to see this run game get kind of more in the mix. And, after last week having barely any yardage, this is good to see it can mix up the offense a bit. And of course, I'm going to tail to this. I brought it up in every video. Got to add my special teams treat with some good and some bad. The good continues to be Ryan Wright, the punter. He's averaging 55 on 3 punts in this game. He's pinning them deep. He's doing a phenomenal job. Their special teams also, great. This great opening to the season in 3 games has been really, really good. The bad is Greg Joseph missing 2 for 2 field goals in this game. It seemed to be the story of this game, but you're going to see games with the kickers, especially this season. It seems like a lot of kickers struggling. So, you know what? All around, Vikings played, a pretty average game. They came away with this one. Luck does play a big part in winning in the NFL. So you definitely want to win these games when they're tight and kind of have that comeback victory. So riding high, we're heading to London next week. That's a big game against the Saints. But let's maybe think about some moving forward points. Defense and Justin Jefferson show up in week 1 and have been kind of mediocre. What do you guys think about that? Maybe add some comments below. How do you think the defense and Jefferson what's causing this kind of effect on them? And then, heading across the pond, Saints haven't shown much this season. They're 1-2, 6:30 a.m. start there next Sunday. I think this will be a close one against another good D-line. So I think my prediction 21-10 Skol. Better quarterbacks, better wide receivers here. But let me know your predictions below. And of course, if you like the content, throw it a like, throw us a subscribe. It helps a lot. Dairylicious out. Skol.